My name still remain Adene, and I will be anchoring this training once again for Smartgen Org, a human capital development platform. In the last course, we discussed extensively about how to write a CV that will make you stand out from the crowd. And for people that listen and watch the video attentively from beginning to the end, they will attest to the fact that their CV writing skill has never been the same again. Now, moving forward, we are going to be discussing extensively on how to find your dream job right now. And that is what we'll be doing justice to in this course. We assume most of the time that we know how to find jobs, but the truth of the matter is a very large percentage of the job seekers out there do not actually know how to find a job. And that is one of the major reasons why they still remain unemployed now. So this particular course is going to empower you on how to actually find what you want. And that's what we'll be dealing with here right away. So under this course, we have some headings, like how to find a job right now, what do you want to do, how to supercharge your search, how to widen your search, how to build an ace LinkedIn profile, and so on and so forth. So without wasting much of our time, let's dive in immediately and start doing justice to the course. Okay, so here we are. We are going to be looking into how to find a new job. As we all know and we understand, finding a job can be very strenuous, most especially in this part of the world, Nigeria. It can be very challenging, it can be very strenuous. If you actually don't know how to go about it, the possibility of getting frustrated easily is not far-fetched. But the method and the step we are going to teach you here will empower you to easily search and find your dream job. That is exactly what we'll be doing here. If you are ready for a change and you don't want to get frustrated like this, my sister, you are looking at on your screen, because a long uh, hours or many months or years of searching for a job can be extremely frustrating, and if not handled properly, will easily lead to a depression. So in order to avoid such situation, we have put this simple step and in-depth method together to give you the experience of how to actually look and find what you are looking for. So if you are ready for a change, please let's go. In order to find, you must first search. If you are looking for anything, call it anything in life, you must actually search for that thing. Before you find, you must firstly search. Whatever you discover without searching for it, you can't say you find it. But before you can say, I find something, it means that you have been looking for that particular thing. And in order to find, you have to search. So, how to search is what we are discussing right now. Let's move on. Now, the first question is, where do I begin? I'm a fresh graduate. I'm looking for a job, or I have some experiences. I intend to change my job. Now, the critical question that is begging for answer is, where do I start? Where to begin? Before you start your search, there are a few simple things you can do to get ready. Readiness is key in everything. If you are not ready, then definitely it will not fall on your laps. So you must be very ready before you can actually search and find. So the question is, how do we get ready? First, think about what you want. What do you actually want? A lot of job seekers out there, they don't really know what they want. Their mind is in a confused state. So the critical question you must first answer is, what do I want? Which job do I want to do? Where is my area of competency? Which job can easily be supported by my credentials, my first degree, my second degree, the area of collocation you have acquired? Which particular job or which set of job can these particulars easily support? So first thing, you must actually know what you want to search, what you are looking for. Think about what you want. Then the second thing is that you structure your day, because when you are looking for a job, you are not jobless. Because the act of looking for a job on its own is a job. So if you are looking for a job, you are not jobless, because your job at that moment is looking for a job. So and you have to treat it that way. So what I'm saying is that you have to structure your day every day. For example, somebody that is working in a formal organization will know that by 8 a.m. in the morning, he must resume at work. He must put his energy, body, and soul into that work for the hours that he has signed with the employer, that he will be working in a day, maybe from 8 to 4, maybe from 8 to 5. He will try as much as possible to avoid distraction and concentrate on such work. So the same thing has to apply when you are doing the job of looking for a job. You have to structure your day to know that at least the minimum 5 hours of my 24 hours in a day must be dedicated to searching for a job. And you have to be consistent about it, as if you have a supervisor that is watching over how you work and that is rating you. It is very important. So you have to structure your day. The third one is that you have to search yourself on Google. Go online, go and search for yourself. How do you look like online on your Facebook, Instagram, on LinkedIn? What is the perception of the person looking at your profile? What would they be thinking about you? For a moment, you step out of your body and pretend to be an employer. With what you are seeing on your social media, do you think you'll be ready to employ a character with such attitude? You post everything. So if you are not happy with what you are seeing, then definitely you need to do something. Then lastly here that I'm going to discuss is how to set up a social media. The avenue to put yourself out there, even while in your room, is to have a very good and compelling social media profile. And we are going to be discussing all these extensively in the next slides. Let's move on, please. Now, moving on, in the last slide, we talk about the fact that you are not jobless when you are looking for a job, because your job right now is finding a job, and we have to take it as seriously as that. So when you are actually looking for a job, you are not jobless, because your job right now is to find a job. And we also talk about one of the most important things when you are looking for a job, and that is you need to Google yourself online. Now, let me tell you a secret about Googling yourself. A large percentage of recruiters nowadays, the employer, they want to know more than what you are telling them verbally. They know quite all right that you may be hiding some things. Of course, you will try as much as possible to feed them with positive things about you. But they are very much concerned about the nature of the person they want to employ into their organization, your integrity, your way of thinking, your outlook about life generally, and your tolerance about other people, religion, other tribe. They just want to have the total outlook about who you are. And the only way they can get unbiased information about you is your social media handles. So they will take your time, they will use your name, some other parameters about you to search you on social media to know who you are in real life, undiluted nature of yours. They want to know. And the only place they can get that fact is on your social media. And before they do that, you have to beat them to their game. And what will you do? Go and Google yourself, search for yourself on social media. Now, don't be biased. Look at it critically and ask yourself some critical questions. That if you are an employer, with this person I'm looking at on my social media, all the write-up he has been writing for the past 5 years, all the comments he has been making on some social discussions, the religion tolerance level, is he the person that I really want to employ to my organization? So you actually need to be very truthful and look at, dilute and dissect the information you get about yourself when you Google yourself on social media. Now, the first question you need to ask yourself when you are doing that is, do I like what I'm seeing on social media about myself? Do you actually like it? Do you love the way you have been dressing, posting your picture on social media, the kind of the pictures you are putting out there on social media, your comments, your posts, you know, your expression about the political side of the country, your opinion about other people's life? Do you actually love what you are looking at on your social media handle? And don't be biased. Tell yourself the truth, yes or no. The next question is, what are you worried about? You are looking at it and you worried that if your would-be employer or a recruiter see this information, they may not likely employ you or they may disqualify you. Do you have that worry? That is the second thing you need to consider when you are Googling yourself online. The next question is that number three is, what can I change? Now, I've seen some things that I believe are distasteful that may not go down well with a recruiter or my employer, or which you think might be interpreted. Now, this is the avenue for you to make a corrections. All the pictures that you believe, maybe during your time of youthful exuberance, that you have been posting online, that you believe can stand against your chance of getting your dream job, this is the opportunity for you to delete those pictures. The comment that you have been making that you yourself don't seem to like because you have grown in age, the maturity has come, and you believe that it was the time of unknown you posted those things, if possible, delete them. What we are saying here is that you need to sanitize your social media handle. All those things that are distasteful, remove them and reorganize everything. Number four is, what can you do more of to create a better image of yourself by the time the employers are looking at you online? No, you have to start posting things that are reasonable. You have to start showing that you can be tolerant of other people's opinion. You have to let them know that you are very mindful on your or mindful of your business, and you are politically, religiously, ethnically tolerant of other people. So you have to put the positive image out there that you want the people to know about you by the time they're searching you out on social media. It must be a deliberate effort. So you cannot leave it to chances. And I can tell you for free that a lot of people got disqualified because by the time they search them on social media, the employers find out that they are not a good fit for their organization, that that person's culture cannot fit into the organization culture. Now, let me give you a typical example of a guy. I will not mention the name of the company that was very desperate. That have been looking for the opportunity to work with this organization because this organization is one of the most reputable organizations in the country with international subsidiaries. Now, the the man in question has passed some stages of recruitment process. Now they search out the guy on social media. Do you know what you find out? You find out that the guy had made some particular comment about this particular organization in the past, and it turned out that all those comments were completely lie because the man put out those information without verifying the authenticity of those information, which are meant to run down that particular organization. And to make the matter worse, those information were false. And because of that, they saw it online and they disqualified the man in question instantly. That the man that cannot be discreet enough to find out the authenticity of information before spreading it is not a good fit into their organization and it will disqualify outrightly. That is just one example of out of many that will happen to you if your social media is saying one thing and your CV and during your interview is saying different thing. So what I'm saying in essence and in conclusion here is that the information on your social media angle must tally with the information on your CV, that is the kind of person you are portraying yourself to be on your CV and the kind of person you tell the employer that you had during the interview. It must not be contrary to the information they are getting on social media. By the time they see a wide gulf between the two information, you stand a good chance of being disqualified from getting that dream job. So these are the prerequisite things, one of the prerequisite things you need to take care of before you start searching for that your dream job. You have to whitewash your image. You have to ensure that whatever can stand in your way on social media, you take care of them. It's by being smart. You are not doing anything wrong. It's by retracing your step and you have come to realize that what you were doing in the past had to be using exuberances. The maturity has come. You get to stop them. That is exactly what you are saying here. So you need to portray yourself in a very good light in your CV, during the interview, and on your social media angles. Please, we need to be extra careful so that we will not use our own hand to jeopardize the chances of getting that dream job we have been dreaming about all our life. So let's move on to the next slide, please. Okay, we talk about structuring your day when you are looking for a job. That is, some certain hours in a day must be dedicated to looking for a job. And you do that because we have already believed and agreed that looking for a job is a job. So you have to dedicate few hours of your day for looking for a job. The rest can be used for some other things. So we agreed on that already. Fine. So you structure your day, and we are going to define or divide the structuring of day into three parts. Number one is plan. How do you plan your day? You can decide that 5 hours are going to be dedicated for job search in a day. You may say that the first 1 hour will always be used for social activities. The next 2 hours will be used for social activity, while the last hours will be used for this and that. It depends on what works best for you. But let's look at what I have here and what I think should be the better way of structuring your day, of planning your day, probably from Monday to Friday, as if you are going to work or as if you are doing work on your phone, on your system within these hours. Now, like you would in a job, create schedule that work for you. I said it earlier on. We don't want to be very rigid about how you spend these hours you have earmarked for searching for a job. So you have to think of what works for you. But the most important thing is that some hours have to be dedicated for job search in a day. So you have to look for what works best for you. The important thing is be clear when you are going to be doing different things like searching for a job, applying for them, and networking. So if you ask me, I would say the best thing to do within the first 1 or 2 hours is to look at the previous mails you have sent concerning the job. Maybe you have made some applications to some organizations, you have applied online, or you have sent your CV via mails. So the first thing I think you should do is to see if you have gotten responses from these people. If you have gotten responses from them, try as much as possible to read through their responses critically and give them a nice and befitting response. So do all this, and if you have not gotten any response from them, you can send them a reminder, if possible, just to remind them that you are still waiting for their response. So you can use the first an hour or 2 hours of the hours you have scheduled for job search to do this. So after you are done with that, you can now use the next 1 or 2 hours for applying for new jobs in case you already have some openings that match your credentials, that you are qualified at least 60% of the criteria they are looking for and you think you can apply, you can start applying for them. Then the third aspect or the remaining hours can be used for networking. There is no gainsaying the fact that when you are looking for a job, you need a lot of networking. The fastest route of getting work or job is through referral. And if you don't have a good, solid, and relevant network, you may not have people to refer you. Referral is one of the shortest way to secure a job. Now that is that. Now they say that all work and no play make Jack a dull boy. You cannot spend the entire day in doing this exercise. You get bored, you get tired, you get frustrated. So you need to create some time for exercise so that the boredom will not start killing you gradually. So the next thing we are going to talk about here is how to engage yourself in some form of exercise. Finding a job can be tough. Nobody can dispute that. Most especially in underdeveloped or developing countries, finding a job can be a Herculean task. So looking after your health is very important because as the days roll by and you are not getting the positive responses you're expecting, the pressure will be building inside you. And the more the pressure builds inside you, the more your heartbeat will increase, the more the rate at which your heart is pumping blood will increase, the more some negative hormone will start secreting into your body. In order to manage this, you need to engage in some things that will take off your mind that substage for some moment. And one of the things to do is to engage in some regular exercise. So you can fit it in your daily routine that within so time, I will be exercising both bodily and mentally. You can see the early morning before 9, between the hour of 7 to 9, you want to be engaging in some exercising. Maybe not too vigorous, some light exercise to keep body and soul together. Then make time for regular exercise. It will help you manage your emotion and give you energy. Yes, you need energy. You need positive energy. You need positive emotion. You need positivity to go about searching your job with free, fair, and clear mind and not with a clouded mind. So you need to be exercising your body. You need to be exercising your mental being. So don't joke with it. It is very important. So the last part we are going to talk about here is relax. Just calm down. Don't let anxiety push you into what you are not ordinarily supposed to do. Don't let the pressure of getting work make you start engaging yourself in some things you are not meant to do. Relax your nerve, relax your energy with consistency of job search, and you are very focused. And I can assure you that if you can follow us from beginning to the end of this training we are organizing on how to get your dream job, you will see that finding a job will be a lot easier, and you will start getting calls for the interview. You start getting a lot of invites. Your CVs that you have been submitting all this while that you are not getting responsive will start rolling in for you to come and attend some interviews. And we are still going to another course after this is about how to be successful in an interview. We are still going to do that. That was why I say that engaging yourself in this training from beginning to end is going to help a lot in getting your dream job faster than you can ever imagine. So just calm down, relax. Each time you want to get unnecessarily agitated, just tell yourself, you may not say it out, just calm down. All things, everything you're expecting will fall into places if you don't allow the anxiety to becloud your sense of reasoning, and the job you have been looking for will just come to you at the platter of gold. So in summary here, what I'm saying is that you plan your day, number one. Secondly, you exercise every day to keep body and soul together and fit. Then the last one, just calm down, relax. You are going to get that job. Don't fall into sickness, maybe permanent sickness, before that job comes in. Because no reasonable employer will want to work with somebody that is perennially sick. And if you are not careful, like I told you, negative things might induce into your body that may cause some terminal disease for you just because you are not happy. So relax. Things will fall into places. Once again, we are still on the course titled How to Find a Job Right Now. And we are on the first module, which is your job right now is to get a job. So we have already preconditioned our mind that when you are looking for a job, you are not jobless. The act of looking for a job on its own is a job. So we should have this at the back of our mind before setting out to look for a job. We have also talked about how to structure your day, dedicate certain number of hours in a day for job search, as if you are using these hours to engage yourself in a formal work. This also is very important. Now we'll be talking of something else that's very related, which is set up your socials. Your social media platform is very key if you utilize them very well in looking for a job. So it is very necessary that you put a very appealing social media profile on your social media platforms. And one of the most effective platform to connect with the recruiters, the employers, or other people that are in the same shoe with you looking for a job is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a professional platform where the recruiter, where the employee, where the business owners interact. So a lot of companies deliberately go into their LinkedIn page when they are looking for new hire. So you need to strategically position yourself on your LinkedIn profile, on your LinkedIn page, so that when these people are browsing for the quality, the qualification, and the skill that you possess, you'll be one of the people that will pop up, and that will be very likely that they may reach out to you. So you must know how to set up your LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn is one of the most popular places for recruiters and hiring managers because you can hire for next to nothing. It's also a great place to connect with other people in your industry and learn new skills. So we are going to talk extensively later on how to set up your LinkedIn profile. Then another thing we talk about briefly here is how to get a professional email address. It is very important that the email address you'll be using to send your resume, send your responses to the recruiters, ensure that the email is very formal and very simple. Don't go and coin some funny words to make your own email. It may portray you very badly in the presence of the recruiter. Don't go and use something like Capone bloody at yahoo.com. It doesn't sound nice. Instead, use something very simple like maybe your first name as some numbers at gmail.com. Maybe the combination of your first name and your surname. It should look very simple and professional instead of using something like Reno Stone Cowboy at gmail.com. This is not looking professional. Now, let's move on. We are going to watch a video now that will tell us the top 10 ways of looking for a job. At the end of the video, we are going to have a brief discussion before we move on. Let's watch, please.
Today, you're going to discover the most successful job hunting strategies and their success rates so that you can get job offers fast. Hi, I'm Ian Jenkins, founder of JobHuntingSecrets.com. Are you struggling to find a job? What most job hunters don't realize is that often a small change in job hunting strategies can yield huge results. In today's episode, I'm going to share the most important job hunting strategies, which are based on 40 years of research by Richard Bowles, author of the book, What Color is Your Parachute? Let's start with the most unsuccessful job hunting strategies and work our way up to the most successful ones. Are you ready? Because the results are going to surprise you. Number 10, the worst match rate goes to online job boards and employee websites. They have a match rate of between 4 and 10%. Now, most of us would experience the 4%. It's only those who have technical jobs, engineering, finance, healthcare type jobs. Those are the ones who get the 10% success rate. The other 12,700 job titles available, we experience the 4%. That's pretty miserable when you think of how much time we all spend on online job boards. Let's move on to number 9, mailing your resume to employers. That has a 7% success rate. Now, quite frankly, there's an over reliance on resumes, which, well, it's worthy of another video. But despite its results, and job hunters continue to push it towards potential employers. And that gives you a 7% match rate. Coming in at number 8 is answering local newspaper ads, between 5 and 24% success rate. And the region for the big range here is the 24% belongs to the low end jobs and the 5% to high end jobs. So there's a huge range there depending on what level of role you're looking for. Number 7, search firms, 5 to 28%. Just like there's a pretty broad range of industries that search companies cover, so is their depth of competence. And that's one thing that Mr. Bowles noted in his book, is that the huge range of competence also dictates their success rate. Number 6, ads in professional journals. That gives you a 7% success rate. It gives you a little bit more targeting, but at the same time, it's very competitive in those industries. Now, let's move to number 5, where we have state and federal employment offices at 14%. Still pretty good, but you better have patience because you know those applications take time. Number 4, asking for job leads from friends, families, contacts, Facebook friends, you name it. Simply asking people for leads to jobs can result in a 33% success rate. Well, at least we're moving upwards, but we're still not near number one. Number three, knocking on the door of an employer. This is a 47% success rate. This one surprised me, but of course, it works particularly well with small companies, those with less than 25, maybe max 50 employees. After that, you might have to go through some security doors or some locks and beeps and reception in order to get into the hiring manager. And that's why it becomes less and less effective the larger the company. Number two, yellow pages and company directories. This is a hardcore, very much sales-oriented way of approaching your job hunt. But this would put you in front of the companies in the industries you want by cold calling them, asking for appointments, booking meetings with them, going online and specifically going after those companies on a list. That's a 65% success rate. But you've got to be pretty assertive and enjoy that kind of job hunt. The number one best way to look for a job is what's known as the parachute approach, or I would like to call it face to face advice meetings. This is a simple method for asking for advice from hiring managers, which consistently gets you in the door with them and subsequently gets you access to unadvertised jobs. Now, as you can see, job hunting methods were not created equally. It helps to prioritize your time towards the most valuable approach, or else your job can go into overtime. Which method do you spend your time doing? Which should you be spending your time doing?
Okay, I hope we all enjoyed the video. But in the last part of the video, two questions were asked. That which method among the 10 listed methods are you currently using? Then the second question is, which method should you be using? I may not be able to answer the first question. You are the only one that can answer the first question. That is, which method are you currently using? But I can suggest the method you should be using to you, which will answer the second question. So if the strategy you have been using among these 10 is not favorable to you, this is the right time to change strategy. And in summary, what the video was telling us is that if you are the kind of person that wait for job to look for you by searching online to look for advertised job and waiting for the newspaper job, the likelihood that you will get a job will be very slim. But if you are the kind of person that your strategy is you looking for the job instead of waiting for the job to look for you. You are the one looking for the job, knocking on the employer's door, visiting them directly, asking the people working in the organization to refer you. You are looking for a referral, then you are good to go. So, the best method of searching for a job is to use a combination of different methods. So, what I'm saying here is that don't rely on online job search only. Don't rely on newspaper only. Don't rely on knocking on employer's door only. But what I'm saying here is that the most effective way of searching for a job is to have a combination of different approach. But whatever the combination you select, let direct contact with the employers, the recruiters, even before the job is advertised, let it be the priority. And the most effective way of doing this is through referral. Secondly, if you search online and you see an advertised job that you think you are qualified for at least 60 and above percent and you want to apply, don't just go ahead and send your resume or you fill the online application and stop there. No. The best way is to ensure that you look out for this particular company. Don't mind the stress of locating that particular company where they have the physical presence. Enter there, interact with people there. I can tell you, you might be lucky to see somebody that will give you listening here. And since they have opening position, it will be very easier for that person to influence your way into that company by the way of making you one of the people that will get calls for the interview. That is what I mean by influence. So it is easier, a lot easier that way, and the chances that you may get that job will be much, much more higher than when you just submit your CV and you close your eyes. So you can see that it is a combination of like two strategies, two methods. Searching online, you get a job, then you try to directly connect with people in that organization, people that can actually assist you. There's nothing wrong in tracing that particular company. Request to meet somebody in the HR department. Honestly, that can be a game changer. That is why we are saying that looking for a job is a job on its own. You don't just sit back and be watching. So if you just apply for that particular job, it means that you are the kind of person that is waiting for the job to look for you. But after applying, you have sent your resume, or even before you apply at all, walk down to that particular organization, particular company, if that company is within the reach. If that company, you are lucky that that company has maybe a subsidiary, or maybe they have a branch in your location that is not too far from you, walk down to them, tell them that you saw something online. Is it true? If they confirm that it is true, appeal to them that how can they help you get your CV to the attention of the person in charge, so that at least they will look at you and it will boost your chance of getting that job. So that is what I mean by the combination of approaches, and it's going to work a lot. So don't just sit back and be watching. Try as much as possible to support your effort with some energy. It is not enough to talk the talk, you have to walk the talk. So before we move on to the next module in this course, you need to ask yourself, what do I want? If you don't know where you are going to, you won't know how to get there. So, what do you want? You need to know where you are going if you want to get there. That is what we are going to cover in the next module, the next lesson. So, thank you for listening. Meet you in the next module as we continue on this training of how to find a job right now. Thank you. Welcome to the second module on the training titled How to Get a Job Right Now. As I said, this is the second module, and what we'll be dealing with in this module is, what do you want to do? A lot of job seekers out there don't actually know what they want. All they know is that they need an income, forgetting that getting a job is far more than having an income. How sustainable would that income be is what many of job seekers don't put into consideration when looking for a job. At the end of the day, few months after they get the job, they become dissatisfied with the job. And before they know it, they could not put in their best in the job. And at the end of the day, they either resign from the job due to frustration, or they get laid off, back to square one. In order to avoid this, all the job seekers out there need to ask this critical question: what do I want to do? Now, on the surface of it, this question looks very simple, but I can tell you it's very, very difficult to answer. So it requires a lot of deep critical thinking to answer these questions correctly without bias. So it's not easy figuring out what you want to do. Yes, it's not easy at all. Sometimes it is about what you need to get by. So in this particular module, we will try as much as possible to answer this question: what do you want to do? It's part of the change you want to occur in your job search effort. So if you are ready for this change, you need to tag along with me. Because most of the time when people are asked this question, they find themselves at the crossroad, just like the picture you are looking at my screen. They cannot convincingly say that this is exactly what I want. So we are going to demystify this here, and we all understand how to come about what we actually want when it comes to looking for a job. Let's go, please. Working hard sometimes, working hard for something we love is called passion. You know, passion is when you are doing something without even expecting any remuneration or any thank you or any commendation from anybody. You are just doing it because you love doing it. You are ready to commit your energy, you are ready to commit your time, you are ready to commit your resources, you are ready to commit your finance. Despite that, you don't really expect anything in return. So anything you can do in this way is your passion. So when you are working hard on something you love, it is called passion. At this juncture, I believe you all understand now what passion is all about, what it means in real context. Remember, our target is to answer this question. What do you want to do in your career life? What do you actually want? So we are trying to answer this question. So in trying to answer this question, where do we begin? Here are some questions you are gonna need to answer in order to answer this question. So for us to convincingly really answer this question, we need to answer this series of questions. One, what is your passion? Earlier on, I defined what passion means, but we have not established how to actually narrow down on your passion to say that, yeah, this is my passion. I just gave you the idea of how to identify your passion. So we are still going to talk a lot more about it here. So what is your passion? The question number two, where and how do you like to work? It is more than I need a job. Which particular job do you need? Which industry? Which company do you think you want to work? Then the third question is that what job are you likely to get? Is one thing that you wish to do A, B, and C job? Is another thing whether the A, B, and C job types are available. So these are the things we are going to answer in this particular module in order to arrive at this ultimate question. What do you want to do? Now, what is your passion? Not an easy question. We said that earlier on, and that is why we are going to break it down for you to enable you to identify what your passion is. So in order to answer this question, what is your passion? We are going to answer two questions here. What are you good at? And what do you like doing? They are two different things entirely. Sometimes it is what we are good at that we want to be doing. Sometimes we are good at something, we want to be doing something else. So it depends on different scenario. So in order to arrive at what your passion is, we need to answer these two questions. What are you good at? And what do you like doing? You might like doing something, that doesn't mean that you are good at that thing. And you might be good at one particular thing, but you might not like doing it. So we have to marry the two together in order to arrive at what your passion is. Now, what are you good at? Let's find out. Being clear about what you are good at is so important when you are looking for jobs, because it is by doing what you are good at that you'll be able to give your best on that particular job. And if you can give your best on any job, sky is your limit, or should I say, sky is your stepping stone on that particular job. But the moment you are doing what you cannot give your best, you will hardly rise in that kind of job. So it is very important to understand what you're really good at. It will help you know what to look for, which jobs are worth applying for, and how to sell yourself. There is no way you will be able to convince the interviewer passionately during the interview if you are not talking about what you are passionate on. It is very critical. So, but it can be a difficult question to answer. What is your passion? Now, let's find out something about what do you like doing. When you know what you like doing, you know what is going to get the best out of you. So, if your passion is what you like doing, the sky is your limit, is your stepping stone. So first thing first, you need to identify your passion and try to understand or find out if that is what you love doing. So you must be able to marry the two together before you can decide on what you want to do. So we are going to expatiate more on it, and there are some few things we need to consider before we find an answer to our ultimate question. What do you want to do? We are still on a mission to answer this question. What do you want to do? When it comes to seeking a job, you must firstly know what you want to do. A lot of job seekers out there in reality don't know what they want. And if you don't know what you want, how will you get it? So it's important to answer the question. And in the previous slide, I talk about the process of answering this question because, as simple as it seems on the surface, it is actually difficult to answer. So, we had the process of answering it. So, I'm going to help you in the process of answering this question. And I said, in answering this question, you must firstly know what you are passionate about. At the same time, to know what you are passionate about, it is not also as easy as it seems. It is a question that if you throw out at people on the street there, what they are actually passionate about, most especially the job seekers, only few can convincingly tell you what they are passionate about. Because what people are keen on is how to get income. And getting a job is far more than that. So you must know what you are passionate about. And in answering the question what you are passionate about, I broke it into two parts for easy understanding. And the first part is to know what you are good at. What are you good at? And the second part is to know what you like doing. What you are good at and what you like doing are two different things entirely. So we should not confuse about two. They mean different things entirely. So we are going to answer each of these questions in order to know what you are passionate about. So the first question, like I said, is what are you good at? And the second question is what you like doing. So let's answer the first question. What are you good at? I cannot tell you what you are good at. I can only tell what I am good at. I don't know what you are good at. Yes, I may be able to guess, but you are the one that can actually come to the conclusion about what you are good at. So here I'm going to give you some tips to help you to know what you are good at. So let's move on. Now look at this. What were you thankful for most recently? This question can push you closer to know what you are actually good at. What were you thanked for most recently? What is that thing that you did that people passionately thank you about? It might be an eye opener for you to know what you are really good at. Now, let's consider another thing that can help you in deciding what you are good at. Now, this is another one. What things are you most proud of in your previous career or in the course of your life, and why? So flashback, go down a bit the memory lane and think about that particular thing that each time you remember, you smile and you feel proud of. That particular thing may push you also towards realizing what you are really good at. Probably you just did it, you didn't expect any commendation. You just did it because you love doing it. And at the end of the day, it made you proud. Your achievement, what you achieved at the end of the day, made you proud. It might be a pointer to what you are really good at. Now, the third question is, how will your friend describe you? What would they say you are good at? Better yet, you can ask them. You know, that thing that your friends keep telling you that you are very good in this area. You have been hearing it again and again. You have been hearing it again and again without asking them, or when you ask them, maybe jokingly, you are just discussing generally. Somebody said that, in fact, you will be a good lawyer. Or you are just discussing generally, someone said that you are a computer guru. So that thing that your friends are telling you that you are good at, it might be a pointer to what you are actually good at. You have to take note of it also. And you may not even wait for them to tell you because some of them might have seen this particular trait in you, but there may not be any reason for them to voice it out. But by the time you just ask them that you have known me for so number of years, what can you actually say that I'm good at? I'm sure if they are good friends, they will tell you the truth. It might not be what you like doing, but they will tell you what you are good at. I think you can see the difference between what you are good at now and what you like doing. So let's consider number four way of knowing what you are good at. This is it. If you are a superhero, what would be your superpower? You know, superpower is about having extraordinary power to solve a problem. So before you can think of any particular thing to be your superpower, it means that there is something you passionately want to deal with. That thing you passionately want to deal with might be what you are good at. So all these four questions, if you sit down and reflect on them critically, they can be pointers to what you are good at. It is very important. Now that I have given you some hints on how you can come at a self-realization of what you are good at, let's move forward to actually consider what you like to do. We now compare the two and see whether they mean the same thing or different thing. At the same time, we try and marry the two in order to come into the conclusion of what we are actually passionate about. So let's move on. The next thing we are trying to break down here is what you like to do. What do you like to talk about? What do you post about on social media? Is it sports? If you are the kind of person that is extremely passionate about stuff, about sport, every day, every night, you love it when you find people discussing sport, you join them effortlessly and you make vital and reasonable contribution. It might be that what you like doing is something around sport. If you take up such thing as a career, you are going to excel. That is one example of how to know what you want to do. It doesn't mean that you are passionate about it and you can at the same time be passionate about it, but it you actually want to do it again and again. Anything relating to sport. That is just an example. Now let's consider the second one. So the second one is what annoys you. Thinking about the wrongs we want to see righted can help you find what we will enjoy. If you see a particular thing in the society that you don't actually like, it pisses you off anytime you look at it, and you are desperate to right that wrong, it might be what you want to do. It might be a pointer to what you actually need to do to excel. When we are saying what you want to do, that is something that when you lay your hand on it, you will be excel. That is what you talking about here. So this is another example of a pointer to what you actually want to do. Now the third one here is, what do you spend most of your time doing? Do you spend most of your time trying to solve some problem on the system? Are you the kind of person that from morning to night, if they ask you to be doing one particular thing, you can never get tired? You can never get hungry? Yeah, it may be a pointer to what you actually want to do. Now, the fourth one here and the last one is, if you could have done one more thing before lockdown, what will it be? If there is one thing you want to do, the last thing before you put up, before you draw yourself inward, what is that last thing you want to do? It might also be a pointer to what you want to do. Now, in order to know what you are passionate about, you must know what you are good at, you must know what you want to do, you must be able to marry what you are good at to what you want to do. If what you are good at is what you want to do, sky is your stepping stone. It means that by the time you go into that particular job, you are going to excel and nothing can stop you. Now we have discussed about how to arrive at your passion. We have broken it down into pieces. We have asked a lot of questions. If you still cannot come into the conclusion of what you are passionate about, you can go back to those slides, try and listen attentively, watch the video attentively, put two and two together, and come into the conclusion of what you are passionate about. So at this stage, I believe that you have identified your passion. Now, let's talk about a very important thing here, something that is affecting a lot of job seekers out there, that is making them to be confused on how to choose their career path. We are going to talk about it. Now that we identify our passion, the next thing is to fuel your passion. Remember, I said that your passion might not actually be what you study in your undergraduate. I know a lot of job seekers out there will agree with me, because in this our environment, all we wanted as youth is to be university graduates. We don't even mind whether what we go into the university to study is our passion or not. We just want people to call us a graduate. We want to have first degree. So you see a lot of certificate out there: physiology, anatomy, mathematics, computer science, and this might not actually be your passion. That is where the mismatch comes in. If your degree is different from your passion, it should be very difficult for you to successful in that path you have chosen, that has nothing to do with your passion. You can't be successful on anything you are doing that you are not passionate about. Let's put it as simple as that. So for you to be passionate about something, or for you to succeed in a particular thing, it is very, very compulsory that you are passionate about it, because that is when you'll be able to give that particular thing your best. The moment you realize that you're not passionate about it, it means that it is not what you are supposed to be doing. So you need to retrace your step. Now, how do we fuel our passion? How do we retrace our step despite the fact that it has suffered a bit of setback from what we studied as an undergraduate? It has never been too late. If your certificate is a degree, and you come to realize after you have put two and two together from what we discussed, and you just realize that your passion is in software engineering, it has never been too late. I repeat, it is never too late to fuel your passion. So it is now the right time for you to fuel your passion in software engineering. If your passion is in broadcasting, your passion is in broadcasting, and you are holding a certificate that reads anatomy. It is never too late for you to fuel your passion in broadcasting. What do you need to do? It is not compulsory that you go back to have another degree in what you are passionate about. All you need to do is to start developing it right from now. You might attend some short courses, you might have to enroll for professional qualification in the direction of your passion. That is why I said it is never too late to follow your passion and fuel your passion. But it is very important not to make a mistake of building a career on what you are not passionate about because you will hardly succeed. So instead of wasting your time, wasting your energy on what you don't actually want to do, why don't you start fueling your passion right from this moment? It has never been too late. That is exactly the message I'm trying to pass across here. Start fueling your passion. When you have got your list of answers, that is, you have put all the discussion together and you know your passion will be the common ground between the two. If you are struggling to understand the previous slide, put them side by side again and try to pair them up. I'm sure you'll be able to arrive at your passion. But the most important thing is that if you have been in the wrong direction, XY, this training will definitely help you to discover your passion and retrace your step and start fueling your passion. I believe you understand very well now what I mean by fuel your passion. Let's start fueling our passion. What I'm doing right here, facilitating, try to develop people, try to enhance people's career, try to support people's business, human capital development. It is my own passion. So you also must discover your passion and follow the direction your passion is taking you to. I hope you all understand what where your passion means at this stage. Now let's continue, please. Now, where and how. You have known what you want to do, you know what you're passionate about. The next question now is that where do you want to practice this thing and how do you want to practice it? And that's what we are going to be discussing here. Now, let's think about how you work best. Because before you can know where and how you want to practice it, you also have to consider how you work best. We work best in different forms. Some people like long hours of work. Some people don't like it. They just want it very short, few hours of passionate work. So you have to understand how you work best before you decide where you want to work and how you want to work. So let's move on. Now let's think about how you work best. Number one, what is your maximum commute? What is the average number of hours you think you can put into that work in a day? That will determine where you need to work and how you need to work. So you must know the maximum commute, the maximum number of hours you are ready to commit to that work. It's very important to understand this. Now, the second thing to understand is, or before we move away from number one, any financial constraint. Is there any financial constraint that may compel you to put in more than your maximum commute? Because it's happening like that around here. So we need to also understand if there is any financial constraint that may force us to work outside our maximum commute. We understand better as we move on. So the next thing is, do you have any constraint in your personal life? Do you have any personal challenge that may not make it easy for you to work in a particular place or the work pattern of that particular job? So if you have a personal trait that is hindering you, you also have to put it into consideration before you decide where you want to work. Now, the third one here is that how do you prefer to work? Do you want it remotely? Do you want it in the office sitting down? Do you want the mixture that you are working remotely in some days you are in the office, or you want it to be absolutely remote job? You also need to know what works best for you before you decide on where you want to work and how you want to work. Then lastly here, what type of contract am I looking for? Is it permanent job? Is it part-time? Is it temporary? You need all this information for you to be able to search very well the kind of job that fits your personality. It is very important we understand this very well before we go outside out there searching for the job. Because I realize that a lot of people become dejected very sooner than they start particular work, most especially in this environment. What they have been looking for all their life, by the time they spend few months here, they start feeling dejected. It is because they are doing what they are not supposed to do. That is the reason we need to understand it. If you are actually looking to build a career over your entire life, you need to retrace your step now. If you have been in the wrong direction, start fueling your passion so that the rest of your life you will feel happy doing the particular job you have taken up to do. A lot of people are not happy in their job. I can tell you for free. For you not to be among these people, you have to follow your passion. We have talked about how to identify your passion. We have also talked about how to know what you love doing. So at that point, we can say partially you know what you want, or you are getting to know what you want when it comes to job. But the next question we need to ask ourselves here is, what of if what you are passionate about, the job you are passionate about, is not readily available? What will happen and what will you do? This now brings us to the next question. What jobs are you likely to get? Because you may not exactly get what you love doing. So, what jobs are you likely to get? So, what we are saying here is that even if you don't get exactly what you are passionate about 100%, you have to try as much as possible to do something very similar to it so that you will not derail totally from what you naturally want to do. You have to be very careful in this area so that the divergence will not be too much, because if the divergence is too much, it's seriously going to affect your career or your business in future. So we are trying to narrow down the divergence as as small as possible. That is what we are trying to do here. Now, let's look at the various options that you have where you can choose something similar to your passion if you cannot get exactly what is related to your passion. Now, let's look at the seniority. As an entry level or as a fresh graduate, automatically you'll be applying for entry level position in any organization you want to work with. But if you have some experiences, you might be thinking of maybe like associate, manager, director, executive director. It depends on the level of your previous skills or previous uh, work ability you have acquired over the time. That will determine the level you'll be applying for when you are looking for a job. Now, also, we look at the industry. Which industry will best fit your passion? I don't want to call it skill now. Here, we are talking about the passion. So, which industry will be best suited for your passion? Very related to what you are passionate about. We'll be talking about it here as well. To help widen your search, think about industries that are similar to the one you have got experience in. So I don't just want to limit it to where you have got experience in, but where your passion is. The passion here is very important. If you have been doing a particular work that you are not passionate about, that doesn't mean that you must continue in that line of work. You can change your work, you can try to move in another direction where you know you'll be more passionate. So we have some example here. Is it a manufacturing or construction? Is it hospitality work? Is it education or social work? Is it water supply or energy supply? So it depends on where you think you can best fit in. Then we talk about the department also. Which particular department in a particular industry or company do you think you work better? Is it as a marketer? Is it in finance? Is it in operation? Is it in IT or web development? All these have to be considered before you can talk about the job that you are likely to get. So, and in choosing this job, you must ensure that it has something to do with your passion. Now, we have discussed so far, we have talked about your passion, your what you are good at, what you love doing, and the available jobs that are relevant to your passion. All these, we discuss them in order to answer this ultimate question: what do you want to do? So, if you bring all these together, at the end of the day, you are going to arrive at what exactly you want to do. You could see that, like I said at the beginning of this module, that it is not something that you can just say abstractly. It is not as easy as the question seems. It's something that requires some analytical thinking, consider some factors critically before you can actually come into what you actually want to do without deceiving yourself. So we have considered all this. Now you should have three clear criteria that you can use to direct you to your job search, which are what you are passionate about. We have discussed extensively on this. How you want to do it, how you want to do that thing that you are passionate about, and the job you could do it in. That is the available job where you can practice your passion. So these are all we have been discussing so far, and I believe you have been able to gain one or two things in this module. And I also believe that by now you should know what you want to do. It's very critical. Don't go there and be searching for job when you are not convinced of exactly what you want to do. So what next? Now we are going to explore how you can find the right job for you. Now that you have scaled through some hurdles, we have learned the prerequisites that we need to understand before we embark on the journey of searching for job. We understood how our passion should be a very significant factor when we are considering the kind of job we want to take on. Now, the next thing we are trying to do is how to go and find that job right now. Let's go, guys. In this module, we'll be discussing how to create an ACE LinkedIn profile. If you are a job seeker and you don't have a LinkedIn page, a LinkedIn profile, it means that you are not ready. Any serious job seeker must have a LinkedIn page. I guess you know the reason it is so important. The number one social media platform for professionals, whether you are trying to build a career or you have your own business and you want to interact with professionals, the number one platform in the world currently is LinkedIn. So if you are not on LinkedIn currently as we speak, it means that you are not at all serious about seeking a job, because any serious minded job seeker must, and I underline must, have a LinkedIn profile. Because if you are going to get any serious job out there, LinkedIn page is one of the ways you can easily get it. Now, I will assume that you don't have a LinkedIn profile. And I will try as much as possible to hold your hand and guide you on how to have an appealing LinkedIn page where the recruiters can easily see you and contact you. That is exactly what we'll be doing in this module. Haven't got a LinkedIn profile yet? Haven't reviewed it in a while? Let's make your profile stand out. Ready for a change? If you are actually ready to build a better LinkedIn profile, you have to tag along with me. Let's go as we dissect it bit by bit. It's going to be very practical because it's going to be an hands-on training where you'll be able to do it on your own at the end of this training with no or very little assistance. That is the aim of this module. Once again, my name is Adeni, and I'm anchoring this training for Smart Gen Hub, a human capital development academy. Okay, let's build your LinkedIn page together. Why fit in when you are born to stand out? The LinkedIn page we are going to build together right here will make you stand out from the crowd. You don't need to fit in if you can stand out from the crowd. And that is exactly our mission in this course. We want you to build a LinkedIn page that will make you stand out, that by the time the recruiters are searching for special skills, your name and your profile will be at the top of their search. That is the main purpose of what you are doing here. So you don't need to fit in and get lost within the crowd, but you are meant to stand out, and will make you stand out with a very appealing LinkedIn profile. Okay, where do we begin? How do we start? Your LinkedIn profile is your first impression to an employer, just like the CV, the online version of your CV, where you can position yourself, is LinkedIn page. So we must make it very appealing because it's going to create the first impression of whom you are to the recruiter that you are looking for the kind of skills that you possess. So it's not something you can just do haphazardly. It's something that you have to be very careful in setting up so that it will attract the right recruiters or the right employers that you are looking for. So we are going to cover the simple things you can do on LinkedIn to make your profile shine and give yourself a better chance of getting hired. So what are we covering here? We are going to cover the headline, then we are going to cover how to obtain all-star status on your LinkedIn page. Next to that, we are going to explain and demonstrate how you can have a sparkling summary, how you can engage people or companies on LinkedIn, and we are going to give you some top tips of setting up an ace LinkedIn profile. Now, your headline. The first thing a recruiter say is your headline. How appealing is your headline? A great headline is simply your current or your last job title plus the job title you are looking for. For example, let's assume that you have some experiences from your previous work. So, what should be captured in your headline should be the current or the last position you had in your previous job or your current job, plus the position you are looking forward to. So that by the time the recruiter are searching on the LinkedIn page with some key points, yours and your name will be part of the search result that they are going to get. That is very important. So you cannot afford to put anyhow headline on your LinkedIn profile. It has to be very tactically coined to give you the result that you're expecting. For example, senior project manager might be your your last position in your previous work slash change consultant slash head of project. This change consultant slash head of project can be what you are looking forward to be doing. You might not be currently be engaging as a change consultant, but that is what you intend to be doing. So it has to be part of your heading to capture everything you really want to do so that it will be part of the search result when the recruiters are looking for the experiences that you possess. Now, will be using my own LinkedIn page to explain some of these things we'll be discussing in this module. For example, this is my LinkedIn page. Right below my name is my headline. My name is simply Adini Ajaguno. And if you see below my headline, it's because the purpose of my LinkedIn page is not to get hired, but to provide service. But it can as well give you an hint on how the headline can look like. You can see my own here, management consultant slash training facilitator slash startup and professional career consultant slash agribusiness expert slash business and personal mentor. I deliberately put all these things there so that if any individual or any organization is looking for the service or one of the services I render, my name and my profile will be part of that search result. Through that, they can contact me for negotiation and discussion, and we can take it further from there. So the same thing applies to you if you are looking for a job. Your headline must capture exactly what you want the recruiters to know you for. So it will make sure you show up when recruiters search for these roles. Hope this one is understandable. Now, how to get all stars. If you want to get all stars on your LinkedIn profile, make sure that all the relevant fields are properly filled. Complete all the fields on LinkedIn. For example, are you unemployed? If you are not unemployed, go to current experience and add a job title, freelance. You can go to the job experiences and start adding the experiences you have gathered so far that you think can be relevant to the roles you are looking forward to be employed in. On this section under the experience, it is very important to do that. Then add company name. There's a portion where they expect you to add company name. Since you are looking for to be hired, you are not a business owner. So you might not put any company's name there. What you should put there rather is ONO, which means open to new offers. The LinkedIn, they understand what ONO means and they'll be connecting you directly to the available jobs that are relevant to your LinkedIn profile. Then uncheck the box asking to update your headline. Since you have already coined your headline very well, you will uncheck the the box that is asking you to update your headline. So what I'm saying here in essence is that in order to get all star on your LinkedIn profile, You must ensure that all the relevant fields are filled correctly and adequately, and all the information that you think the recruiters should know about you are succinctly narrated in the relevant field. You must make sure this is done before we move forward. Now, we have discussed how to get all stars by filling all the relevant fields on your LinkedIn page. Lest I forget, for the people that are trying to get the LinkedIn page for the first time, you know, as usual, if you are going to a particular website you want to register, first of all, you go to the LinkedIn website. Once you put the LinkedIn on your browser, it will give you the options of where to sign up. So while signing up, you put all the relevant details there. They are straightforward. Then you get yourself sign on. Immediately you fill the relevant details. You select the username. You select the password. You complete the signing up. Then a LinkedIn page will automatically be given to you by the LinkedIn company. So the next thing they will ask you to upload your picture. You must ensure that you put a professional looking picture. You are trying to attract the professionals in various walk of life. You are looking forward to be hired. So one of the first things they want to see about you is your profile picture. So do I go and get a very simple, formal and professional passport, upload it on the system, let it be your profile picture before you start doing what I've been explaining so far, starting from your headline, how to have a captivating headline, to how to have or to get all stars. Now, the next thing we are going to do, which is one of the most important aspects of your LinkedIn profile, is how to write a sparkling summary. Just like a normal CV, the summary you are going to put here must summarize who you are and the skills you are going to say in few words. You don't need to populate this particular portion with unnecessary words and sentences. Just go straight to the point. They want to know who you are at a glance. So you have to be very systematic and be very cautious about what you put in your summary. Now, let's start discussing how to have a sparkling summary. Start with one brief paragraph, mm, just a brief paragraph, and let that paragraph be very captivating. So, what are the likely things the recruiters are expecting to see on that first paragraph? Who you are professionally. Remember, professionally, because this thing is about a profession, not hobby. So they want to know who you are professionally plus who you are as a person. So apart from describing maybe the experiences you have, what you can do, the skill you possess, they also want to know your personal attribute, whether it will fit into the culture of the organization. So don't just end it by stating your professional side. You must also highlight your personal attributes. Now they give us one example here. For example, I have got a knack for making complex things seem simple, and I get a real kick out of using it to help people get better at what they do. Now, if you look at this sentence, it's talking more of personal attribute, the kind of person you are, that spontaneously, this is what you can do, whether trained or untrained. You just have the appetite, the energy of trying to help people to be better. Now, combined with my diverse business background and experience in change and project management, now they are talking about the skills. and make people develop a competitive advantage for any organization I work for. So this paragraph, it talks about the personal attribute and also talk about the skill. Now, the next thing apart from this sentence, the next thing you are going to do is this second one that we call list your top competencies. Now, in bullet point, you are not going to list at least 5 competencies that you possess. For example, here, organization, if you are an organized person, communication, if you have good communication skill, cash handling, you have to start listing them, all those attributes, skills that you possess. Now, apart from listing the personal attribute, you also list your top 3 to 5 technologies or train methodologies that you possess. For example, in your previous work, you try to state what you achieve, CSAT, customer satisfaction. You have to describe it there, how you possess that skill, net promoter score, Six Sigma, MX Word, MX Excel. So here you are going to be highlighting your skills in bullet point. You know the first one here where we say start with one brief paragraph, this is where you are going to highlight your personal attribute and your professional attribute. Now the second one here where it is written that list your top 5 competencies, this is where you are going to be listing what you are capable of doing. Maybe you are a good listener, maybe your communication skill is top notch, customer satisfaction, all those stuff like that. This is where you are going to list them. Now, the third one here is where you are going to list your top 4 to 5 career achievements. What you have achieved during your career. Maybe you are awarded the best employee of the year, this award given by the CEO for achieving this, for achieving that. This is where you are going to list the 4 or 5 career achievements, the project that you are given to do, how you did it, what was the result. This is where you are going to enumerate them. For example, use numbers or metric to bring them to life. Don't just be stating them abstractly. You have to be supporting them with evidences, and you have to be supporting them with naira, with figure. For example, delivered. Remember, this has to be in past tense, not I am doing, not I did. Just start with past tense. Delivered 150% of my sales target in my first 9 months and added £2,500 to the bottom line. You can see that we can easily see figure here. You can't just say that I deliver on my target. How? How did you deliver on your target? So your recruiter, they actually want to have more insight into how you deliver on the given target, and which is clearly stated here. Deliver 150% of my sales target in my first 9 months and added £2,500 to the bottom line. Number 2 example here, lead my department to a 98% CSAT, that is customer satisfaction survey, score for the year, delivered 3 projects on time and 10% below budget. Yeah, this is also an achievement. Handled customer queries effectively with an average handling time of 90 seconds. You can see that all the points listed here are not abstract. They're example of the things you have actually achieved. So when you are writing your summary, make sure it encompasses all these 3 points. Number one, start with one brief paragraph. Number two, list your 5 competencies that you have. Number three, you have to list your career achievement. If you can put all these 3 together, now if this is your first job, you are looking for your first job, yes, the achievement might not necessarily be from the formal sector. It might be from your school, what you achieve while you are a student. They can also come under this place. Maybe you are best graduating student, you achieve this, you achieve that, you are nominated for this, you are nominated for that. All those ones can also come under here. So what we are saying in essence is that your summary must be very sparkling. Let's quickly look at an example of my own summary that I have here. Though it is Smart Gen is a service provider, they can also give you an insight about how summary is supposed to be. I'm a skillful and making complex things seem simple, all those stuff. Now, I want you to see this part where I listed some of my achievements. I'm a satisfied management consultant, and so on and so forth. You can see the skills I listed here that in terms of skills, training, experience, education, knowledge, technical know and competencies. So you have to ensure that all these things are well highlighted in your CV to actually prove to the recruiter that you are the best fit for the job. I believe by now we understand the content that are meant to be in your summary of your LinkedIn profile. All these three contents that we have just explained must be tactically be included on your summary because it is the summary that will tell the recruiters who you are personally and professionally, and it is from the summary they will decide whether they want to look at the other parts of your LinkedIn profile, like educational achievement, like work experience, and some other things. So if you cannot convince them through your summary, then definitely they will move on to the next person. So before we leave this aspect, I want to briefly show you the summary on my own summary on SmartGen, how it looked like, some of the points I strategically highlighted there to show my potential clients what we have to offer. So, if this, I firstly explain who we are, the personal attributes, and the skills that we possessed. I also stated there all the services we rendered like the skills, training, experience, education, what in summary, what we can do and the services we can render. I also talk about the work experience to show our potential client that we are actually capable of delivering on what we highlighted that we can do. You can see 10 years of consultancy and training services to businesses such as Blue Sky Digital Limited, EcoPath, and so on. 17 years of work experience in reputable organizations and social banks, training and mentoring youth on how to improve their employability. More than 50 youths are currently being assisted to secure their dream job. The figure is here. Currently supporting more than 10 SMEs to improve their revenues and profitability. All these things must be there. So when you are stating your own, all your achievements so far, if you have previous work experience, what you achieved there will be highlighted there. If this is your first time of seeking for a job, whatever you think has been your achievement in the course of your life, maybe when you are in the university or at one point or the other, state it here that you think can be very helpful to improve your employability. You have to state everything there. Then from there, I stated the academic achievement, the professional qualification. They are here. Fellow, the Institute of Management Consultants, Fellow Chartered Institute of Loan and Risk Management, Certified Management Specialist, London Graduate School, full member, Chartered Institute of Security and Investment, associate member, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria. Your own too, all the professional qualification that you possess, you have to put it there. Below here, I also put other certification that we possess here. Then the board membership that I belong to is also here. I stated all this to put me in a very vintage position when the clients are looking for the kind of services we render, we will be at the top of their search. The same thing should be applied to you too. The same thing should be applied to you. State everything that will be helpful to make you be at the top of the search of the recruiters when they are looking for people to hire. So this is this in summary. This is how to write a sparkling summary, and I'm very sure that you have a better idea of what should be the component of this part of your LinkedIn page. So let's move on. Now, the next thing after you have already set up your summary, The next thing is engaging with people. LinkedIn rewards engagement on platform with better visibility in recruiter searches. You have to increase your activities on LinkedIn. That is what we are talking about here, because LinkedIn do not want sleeping LinkedIn members. They want you to be actively participating. In doing so, it will be helpful to the organization, and in return, they are ready to reward you by ensuring that you are more visible to the recruiters when they are searching for the skill that you possess. So you have to be making relevant contributions on the platform. For example, comments. Commenting on people's posts by adding something to what they are saying, and at somebody or at an organization them in the comments is the quickest way to build engagement and connection at the same time. By the time you are sharing your opinion, some other people also will be responding to you. By one way or the other, you are building connections with people, you are building connection with organizations, and by the time it comes to the point that those organizations want to hire, it will give you a better chance than the person that's not been contributing on their pages. So it is very important that you're active in this regard. It also gets you visibility to the followers of whoever post you're commenting on. For example, if you are commenting on the post of a particular company and you are making valuable contributions, all the followers of that particular company organization will be seeing what you are posting, and you are creating connection by one way or the other. The second way to be engaging with people on LinkedIn is by joining the relevant groups. Joining group is the fast way to increase your connection and get into different conversation that might not be happening publicly. You have to strategically join some groups, for example, job seekers group, for example, employers group, a lot of groups that are very, you can search for them, a lot of them, countless in number, they're on LinkedIn. Just look for the particular ones that you think can enhance your employability. Join them, start following them, and start making comments. So every other person that is following that particular group can, by one way or the other, get connected to you. So through that, you are creating more and more connection. Then the third one is worthwhile. Once you are comfortable with the platform and the conversation going on in your network, use three relevant hashes in your post to increase visibility, and only add people in them if it is relevant. When you are making your post, you can be using hash current job, hash, so that the people that are using similar hashtag will be seeing your post, and if they need you, they will easily contact you. So what we are saying here is that it is very necessary to engage on LinkedIn regularly. So it's not enough to just create a LinkedIn profile and go to sleep. You have to be interacting with people on LinkedIn profile. Through that, you are creating connections, you are making more friends that can easily assist you in getting your dream job. As we progress, you are going to see this connection you are building, how they can actually help you in securing your job easily without stress, and they'll put you in a more advantageous position than the people that are not active on LinkedIn. So, in summary, it is not enough to just have a LinkedIn profile. It is also very important to be active on LinkedIn. Now, top five tips that you need when you are setting up your LinkedIn page. Number one, your photograph must be very clear and professional looking. Secondly, add any certificate, diploma, award in the feature section. I've explained that. Or everything that you possess that can help you, add them. Number three, get to LinkedIn setting and turn visibility to recruiters on. You can do that here. You just come here, open, find a new job, just click on it. Once you click on it, you will turn it on so that the recruiters will easily find you on LinkedIn. Then number four, experiences. You have to put your experiences there at least for the last 12 to 15 years must be there. Then last, add a couple of lines of responsibility to each experience. Still on this number 5 point, that is, add a couple of lines of responsibility to each experience. What this one is telling us is that it is not enough to just put your experience, but you have to put some responsibilities you carry out when you are doing this job function. Because the recruiters may not be asking for the subject of your experience, but they may be interested in some of the responsibilities you carry out when you are working in that particular on that particular function. So it is not enough to just state the experience, but they want to actually know and see some of the things you do when you are acquiring that experience. So it is also very important. Now, this is the summary. Your own summary will not necessarily be as bulky as my own summary because my own has something to do with consultancy and rendering service. But your own summary should at least capture the three important things we have highlighted so far here. We have highlighted so far that you must ensure that you have these three must be the component of your own LinkedIn summary. And don't let it be unnecessarily bulky so that it will not contain irrelevant information. Now, apart from the summary, there are some other aspects of the LinkedIn that you also have to fill and fill correctly. For example, let me show you here. This is the summary about. Apart from here, there's also a portion for experience where you have to list all your experiences from the starting from the most recent, which must be at the top, then down like that. The least one should be the last one should be your oldest experience. Let me just put it that way. Your oldest experience, while your newest experience should be at the top. So here you are going to state your experiences. There's also a portion for education. You have to list your education. The most recent educational attainment must be at the top, then downward like that. All these are necessary. There's also a portion where you are going to fill in your skills so that they will know the skill that you possess. So you have to fill every aspect of your LinkedIn page to ensure that you achieve the top stars. You achieve all star on your LinkedIn page. All these are very necessary when you are setting up your LinkedIn profile. So now your LinkedIn game is on point. You are ready for the next level. Now, I can assume that what we have discussed so far on how to set up your LinkedIn page will help you a lot in having a very scintillating and an appealing LinkedIn page. The next question is, how do you now start conducting your search to connect with the recruiters, to connect with available job on LinkedIn? So setting up your LinkedIn profile is on one side. We are now going to go deeper into how you can turn your LinkedIn page to a gold mine, and that is exactly what we are going to be doing next now. So please, it's going to be an hands-on training. It's going to be very interactive. Try as much as possible to watch the video and pay rapt attention so that you'll be able to get every detail we are going to be explaining in the next module we are going to write now. In the previous module, we talked extensively about how to set up an X LinkedIn page. We dealt with it from beginning to the end, and by now, I assume that you have already set up your LinkedIn page or you are on it setting it up. Let me put it that way. But everything you need to know to kickstart your setting up of your LinkedIn page has been given to you. So we are ready to fire now. So the next thing is to turn your LinkedIn page to a gold mine. Setting up your LinkedIn page is not for decoration. There is an end in mind. This is the right time to go ahead and achieve that end you had in mind. So the next topic we are talking about here is how to supercharge your search. You didn't set up your LinkedIn page for the fun of it. You set it up in order to assist you to accelerate your job, the getting of the job that has been eluding you all this while. So if we set up the LinkedIn page and we abandon it like that, it means that our effort is useless. So in order to derive the purpose of setting up the LinkedIn page, we are going to now turn it to something that will be very beneficial to you in your quest to secure a job. A lot of things are here that many of the job seekers out there do not know. I'm going to explain in details how you can be empowered, and before you know it, you start getting calls, you can start getting mails from recruiters when they see that your profile on LinkedIn matches what they are looking for. So let's go ahead on how to position yourself where the recruiters can easily see you and how you can connect to the recruiters even before they list the jobs. The essence of what we are doing here is to find the job before the job is even listed so that you'll be the among the first set of people to know that there's an opening somewhere and it will put you at an advantage position, unlike the people that are waiting for the job to look for them, just waiting for the advert to be published online or in the newspaper. You are not waiting for the advert to be published. You are going in right there and you are getting your job. Right? The people that wait for the advert to be published are the people that get the crumbs, the leftover. When you are eating a leftover, definitely you are not going to get satisfied. You are eating ordinarily what you are not supposed to eat because the main thing, the main food, have been taken over by the people that are aggressive enough to move forward, bold enough to move forward, to grab the main food, while the leftover will be the one they will publish for the people that are lazy to come and struggle with. So in order not to be in that position, you need to utilize the power of LinkedIn effectively to your own advantage. So let's go there now and get that job that has been running away from you all this while. Now back to the topic, supercharge your search. Now you know what you are looking for. We have already discussed it, how to actually narrow down to what you want. We have done that already. You know what you want and you know how to prepare your CV. We have discussed that one also. And you have already set up your LinkedIn page. Now let's go and get that job. That is the next thing we are trying to do now. We are going there to get that job. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. This is the beginning of a journey of a lifetime in your life. So this beginning is very, very critical. It will determine what will happen to you subsequently. So we cannot afford to joke with this beginning. Now, where do we begin our search? We are going to supercharge your job search using a technique from Steve Dalton called the 2-hour job search. I'm going to show you how you are going to effectively use this technique. This technique is going to help you find job before. I underlined the before here. It's going to help you find job before they are listed. Getting in early will boost your chance for success. There's no gainsaying that fact. Be among the early bird. We said that already. So here, what are we going to cover? We are going to cover number one, things you will need. Number two, building a list of companies. Number three, prioritize them. Number four, getting in touch. These are the areas we are going to cover in this training. And I want you to be with me right from the beginning to the end. Now, let's start with things you will need. So, what are we going to need in accomplishing this training? We are going to do most of this on LinkedIn. So, we need a LinkedIn page where we can be going to check out some of the trainings that I'll be dishing out here. That is to practicalize it so that you will see how it happens in real life. Secondly, you need an Excel spreadsheet or a table in Word. I prefer the Excel sheet so that you'll be able to see the row and the column. You will easily type whatever you want to type in any row and the column. So you don't need to be struggling with how to put a table on Word document. But if you are so vast in Word document, you can use the Word document to achieve the same purpose. It all depends on you. Then number three here, your information from the lesson two. All the information you gathered, most especially from where you narrow down onto what you actually wanted. That information is going to be very useful here. So we'll be going all this one after the other. Once again, please be attentive and follow this training. At this juncture, we have successfully set up our LinkedIn page and we believe everything is all right. Our summary is intact. All other details are well arranged and succinctly put. Now, having a very beautiful profile on LinkedIn is not enough to land you your dream job. You have to do much more. I think that is one of the major mistakes the job seekers are making. They believe that once they have the LinkedIn page, they put their profile details there, they put their qualification there, they put their skills there, it is enough for them to land their dream job. No, it is much more than that. You have to do more. Remember, we are saying that the essence of this our training is to go and find the job before that job is even listed or the people out there they are aware that there is any opening anywhere. Let me be frank with you. Most of the online jobs you are seeing, most of the jobs you are seeing on the pages of newspaper are just there for formality's sake. They put them there because it is a part of the company's policy that all the vacancies must be advertised openly, publicly. But that doesn't stop them from doing internal hiring. They wanted to put people that they trust into this position, people that they can attest to the ability and capability of the person. This is the kind of person they want to put into this opening space. So the fact that they advertise online and people are submitting the CV cannot compare them to hire from outside. In fact, most organizations now they hire from within. Another way they hire these days is through referral. So if you are the kind of person waiting for job to look for you, because if you are waiting for the adverts online on a newspaper before you make a move, it means that you are waiting for the job to look for you. It means that you are going to spend a very long time in labor market. But if you are the type that is very proactive, which is what I'm preaching and teaching here, you are the type that is very proactive, that you are bold enough, you are aggressive enough to go out there and get what you wanted. Honestly speaking, it's just a matter of few days, you are going to get out of the labor market and you'll be gainfully employed. And that is the essence of this training. So this training is not just to teach you how to set up a very powerful and age LinkedIn page. It is far, far more than that. The most important thing here is how to create connections on LinkedIn, and that is exactly what we are doing. Now, we want to supercharge your search. You cannot be searching like amateur any longer. Right from today, you need to be searching like a pro. You need to be able to get what you want from LinkedIn. So building your list of companies. So here in the previous module, we talk about the tools that we are going to need to supercharge your search. And one of the tools we mentioned there was an Excel sheet or a Word document. It depends on the one you think you are more proficient on. But here, I mean, if you ask me, I prefer the Excel sheet because it is easier. All the features are already there. I don't need to be struggling to go to the table on the Word document. But if it is that one that is easier for you, you are free to choose anyone. So this is an Excel sheet now. We want to learn how to create connections on LinkedIn. So this is an Excel sheet now. On your Excel sheet, you know what rows mean, you know what columns mean. So on the row, you label it A, B, C, and D, the way they appear on your screen. And on the column, you label it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, as many as possible. It depends on the number of companies you want to work on LinkedIn. It depends on the number of companies you want to work on LinkedIn. So if you have some particular companies in mind already, it makes it easier. You know, I told you in the previous modules, one of the previous modules, that you need to actually know what you want. And one of the way to know what you want is to ensure that what you actually want to do is what you are passionate about on one side, on the other side, it is what you love doing. Because you may be passionate about it, you may not want to be doing it as a career. But you will be so lucky and be in an advantageous position if what you are passionate about is what you want to take up as a career. Honestly, it will be very, very good for you. So if you have narrowed it down by now, you should know the name of the companies you are looking forward to, and you should know the particular job function you intend to be performing in these companies. So you start listing the names of all those companies here in the column A. Company one can be GTB, company two can be Access, company three can be Unilever, company four can be Dangote, five can be Aiko. They may not necessarily be in the same industry, but if you think the skill that you possess, what you want to do, are being done in these companies, you name them. But if you are named like five or six companies and you cannot remember of any other company that you can just add, LinkedIn can assist you in this regard. All you need to do is to log in to your LinkedIn page with your username and password. Immediately you are there, you go to the search bar. For example, this is the LinkedIn page now. I have signed on with username and password. This is the search bar. On the search bar, if you know the name of the industry where those companies belong to, you can type it here. For example, if it is you want to know all the names of all banks in Nigeria to begin your connection, you just type banks, you just type banking or bank in Nigeria in order to narrow it down, because if you don't put Nigeria, it will give you all the banks in the whole world. You know, LinkedIn is for the whole world. So you click here. Now, in order to narrow it to the name of the company, because now you are particular about the name of the company, you can just click on this top bar, you can just click company. By doing so, it will bring out the name of the banks. The one at the top here, Bank of China, I believe maybe they have the subsidiary or offices in Nigeria. That is where the search is bringing them out. But if you go down below, you start saying, oh, okay, it has not started bringing out the bank in Nigeria. Maybe we should try and do something. Companies, yeah, you can see now, it has started bringing out the name of the banks in Nigeria. We want to narrow it down as much as possible so we will not be seeing the bank from Bangladesh, the bank from India, the bank for all the banks that we do not have interest in will not be coming in. So we have to narrow it down exactly to what we want. So here you can have the list of all banks in Nigeria. There, if it is insurance company, just type insurance, click on company, it will bring all the insurance companies in Nigeria. So you come here on your Excel sheet, you list all the companies, as many as possible. And if you know that you can't really remember the industry, you don't have any industry at the back of the name of the company, and you want to use the job function to search. For example, if you are interested in marketing, you just come back to the LinkedIn page here. On the search bar, put marketing. This time around, you search by the people so that you get to know the people that are working on the same function in their respective company. You click on people, so it give you the list of the people that are working in similar role. For example, this one you can see strategic marketing, but you will now try to know which particular company this person is working for. So if you try to know, I think the person is working for GT Bank. So if the GT Bank is not part of your list before, this is an opportunity for you to include the GT Bank. So what we are saying here now is that we are going to list as many companies as possible in this column so that we have enough companies to have connection with. The list can be as long as possible. So don't limit yourself, don't restrict yourself. So this is how to work on column A of this Excel sheet. Still trying to build our connections. So we have successfully completed column A, which comprises the names of our desired companies. Now the next thing to do is to complete column B, C, and D. But there are some criteria we need to look into before we know what to assign to each of these columns. And we are starting with column C, which is motivation. So in the next slide, we are going to go through those criteria so that we understand how to fill these three remaining columns. Okay, yes, let's start with motivation, which is column number 3. So what are the criteria we are going to use to assign parameters to column 3, which is motivation? Let's look through it. Now, rate your companies by how much you want to work for them. 1, not that much. 5, which is the highest, this is my dream job. So you have already listed the company, and between you and I, you know that the preference you have for each of these companies is different. You may prefer company 2 to company 3. You may prefer company 5 to company 1. So the preferences for these companies are different. There are some companies that they are just your dream countries. All you have been dreaming about all your life is to work with these companies. But there are some that, well, you can just manage them out of nothing. So you are going to rate these companies based on your desire to work with them. The company that is your dream company, which you can say is your dream job, you rate it number 5, but the least you rate it number 1. In between, you can rate 2, 3, and 4. So let's go back to our Excel sheet now, all our table, and see what actually happened there. Now you can see this. All the company listed here, mm, they the rating assigned to them is 5555, which means that this particular person wants to work in any of these companies listed, at least these five companies. They are his or her dream companies. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. So you might decide to give this one five, you might give this one two, you might give this one three. It depends on how you feel about each of those companies. So motivation, it means that how motivated are you to work for any of these companies. If you are extremely motivated, that you consider working for company one a dream job, you rate the company five. But if you think company four, it is just there in case you don't have anything, you don't want to remain idle, you just need to put your hand on something, and that is why you can consider such a company. You can rate such a company one or two. So you can see that putting the rating on column C is very easy. It is just like I said, how motivated you are to work with that company. That's fine. So let's go back to our slide now. So we have talked about motivation. Do it as quickly as you can to make the rating meaningful. So it is not something you should be brooding over, spending a lot of time to think about. No, by the time you are doing that, it will lose the meaning and you'll be biased. In order to let it be spontaneous as it is exactly in your mind, do the rating as quickly as possible. So the next thing we are going to talk about now is the connection. What do we mean by connection? Number one, do you know anyone who works there? In all these companies that you have listed, start going through them one after the other to find out if you by any chance you know anybody working in this company. It might be your relative, it might be your friend, it might be your schoolmate that you know very well, it might be your neighbor. Just think through it if you can think of anybody working in any of these companies. That's number one. Now, if you don't know anybody physically that is close to you working in any of these companies, the next thing to consider is, are you connected on LinkedIn with anyone who works there? You have a LinkedIn profile already. By one way or the other, you have connected with some people. Maybe they send you an invite, you accepted, or you send to them, they accepted, and they happen to be working in any of these companies. It will make the work easier for you. So, number one is to find out if you know personally anybody that is working in any of these companies. If you don't, then go to number two. Do you have any connection with anyone on LinkedIn that is working in any of these companies? If you don't, then go to number three. Finally, search for people on LinkedIn using the company's name. Change the filter from connections to third party or second party. So what we are saying here in essence is that if you don't have any connection, maybe first connection or second connection with anybody working in this company, now go and search for people that are actually working in this company. That's exactly what we are saying here. Finally, search for people on LinkedIn using the company name. Change the filter from connection to third. Then under all filters, select your school or university. This will show everyone who worked there who went to your previous school. So what this one is telling us is that when you have exhausted the first option, it doesn't work. You have exhausted the second option, it didn't work. Now you go to the third option to see if there is anybody working in any of these organizations that went to your school. You might not be in the same class, you may not be in the same level, but actually went to your school. The fact that you belong to the same alumni, it means that you have connection together. So if there is any yes in any of these three, it means that on the column of connection, you are going to put yes. But if you have gone through these three criteria and you can't still find any connection at all, then in that column in front of that company, we are going to put no. Now let's go back to our table and see what happened again. Now on this column, which is connection, in company A, after going through the three options available, you still cannot get any particular person that you can connect with that work in this company. You put no. Here you put yes, here no, yes, no. So now I believe you understand how we populated the column B, which is meant for connection. Fine. We are now left with the last column, which is the column D, hiring. Let's find out what to consider under the column D. In the column D, hiring, put one, two, or three in this column if number one, they are not hiring for any related job. If that particular company, they are not hiring for the job you are actually looking for example, if you want to work as a marketer, but currently they are not hiring for marketing, you put one. Number two, if they are hiring for job which resemble what you are after, but not exactly what you are after. For example, if you are looking forward to work there as a marketer, but you are looking for a market strategist, you can see that there is a correlation. You can put two. Though it is not exactly what you want to do, but it has something to do with what you want to do. Then the three, if they are hiring for that particular job function that you are looking forward to, for example, that marketing, and they're exactly hiring for marketing, you put three. That was how I came about populating these three. So after you have populated all the screen, the question is, what is the next thing to do? Now, what you need to do is to filter them. You need to filter your table. I'm sure you know how to filter. It is either you filter the table or you sort the table. It's a very simple SSK which I may not be able to go into here. So what we are saying now is that you now filter them. You can firstly filter them maybe according to connection, filter them according to motivation, filter them according to hiring. For example, this one was filtered according to motivation. You can see that the one up here is the one with highest motivation, company number one. Then filtering by hiring, when you filter by hiring, you can see that this company number one is still at the top. Now, when they filter for connection, you can see that company number one is now on number three. So the essence of sorting is to put the companies where you have much or best opportunity at the top. So once you can identify those companies, most especially the company where all the parameters are in your favor, you don't need to waste time. You need to do something right away. Then all those ones that are not 100% in favor, you can still do something about them right away. Now, what are we going to do about them after we have ranked the companies, we have sorted them, we have filtered them, you can see the one that are very promising. What is the next line of action? The next line of action is to start getting in touch. How do we get in touch? Okay, before we start getting in touch, I think there is something I skipped that I feel it is necessary I go back there to explain properly because I want every single person to be able to do this on their own. This training is do it yourself training. I'm not doing all this so that you contact me that I should do it for you and I'm charging you. No, I'm teaching you how to do it on your own and how to teach others to do it. You are being empowered. So I'll have to go back to this particular point when I was explaining how to create connection. I explained the first one, I explained the second one, I explained the third one, but I didn't demonstrate how to search for this third party connection on LinkedIn. And that is exactly what I want to go back to correct now. So on the LinkedIn, you did this critically, what I put here. Finally, search for people on LinkedIn using the company name. This is what we are talking about. Let's assume that the company name is Access Bank, and you have checked the first criteria whether you physically know anybody working in Access Bank. I'm just using this as an example. You don't know anybody around you that you can point out that is working in Access Bank. Now, the second option was to consider whether you have any connection with anybody working in Access Bank on your LinkedIn. You have checked, you don't have any direct connection with anybody. You don't have anybody as a friend working in Access Bank, which means that you cannot still make use of the second option. So the last option is to see whether you know anybody that is connected to you, that is not connected to somebody working in Access Bank. That is why it is called like third party. So if you know such a person, you can still reach out to you can still reach out to that particular person. So how do we find out if we have some people that work in Access Bank that have connection with people that have connection with us? That's exactly what we are trying to find out here. So you put Access Bank PSC here, for example, and we want to search by people. You click on people, the people will be highlighted there. Then if you go back here, the next thing to do is change the filter from connections to third party. Now let's go back here. From connection, you change it to third party. Show results. Now, if you look in front of them, you'll be seeing third party, third, third. Now, these are the names of the people that are working in Access Bank that are connected with somebody that you know. So it's not necessarily mean that the person working in Access Bank must be connected to you, but you must find out is there anybody that is connected to somebody. Is there anybody that is working in Access Bank that is not connected to somebody that is your friend? Let me put it that way on LinkedIn. So if you find such person, that person can also be a good contact for you to enter Access Bank. So you cannot give up here. So if you have any of these three options, your your categorization on the column or connection will be yes. But if you have explored all the options and you can't still find anybody working in Access Bank, that is when your categorization will now be no. Yeah. So I hope I've explained that one clearly. And if you look at the front of them, you see third, 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 third. So these people also are the link for you to connect with Access Bank. They can actually aid your getting employment in Access Bank. Now, how do we reach out to them? That is the next thing we are going to discuss now. How do we reach out to them? How do we get in touch? Time to get in touch. Now, we have two category of people. We have some category of people that we have either first, second, or third connection with. Then we have another category of people that we don't have connection with at all. Now, if you those ones that we have connection with, how do we get in touch? That is the next question. Let's find out. If there is a yes in the connection column, that is, if you know them or you already connected with them, then ask if they have got some time to share their experience of their company with you. If you know them, if it is option number, connection number one, where you know them physically, you can go and meet them one on one. that you saw that your company is recruiting and they are recruiting for the skill that you possess or the certification that you possess, and you think that person can help you facilitate you getting employment in that organization. If you have rapport with that person and the person is willing to help, through that, it may find it easier to enter Access Bank. You can also put a phone call to those people that you know that this is what is happening, you need their assistance. They might be willing to help you. That is for category number one. The category number two, that you already have connections with those people on LinkedIn, you can send them a very nice message and ask them if they can spare some time for you because you have one or two questions to ask them or some clarification about the company they are working for. And that is exactly what we are saying here. If you know them or you are already connected with them, then ask if they got some time to share their experience of their company. Now, if their second or third connection that you don't have direct connection with them, if their second or third connection, invite them to connect with the following message. So you can send them a message that you are like, it's like seeking for a friend request, sending a friend request to them that you want them to connect with you. So send them a message, a very nice message. Example of the message is here for you. Like, my name is Philip. I'm a fellow graduate of your school. Remember, you actually search using the third party options and you're trying to find out if you went to the same school. In case I didn't explain that part very well, let me quickly go back and explain it. So after you have done this, you now come to Offita. Oh, sorry, I think I didn't explain very well. You now come to Offita. You now come to where you think you have connection with them, most especially based on university. You can see different options. Maybe your previous work, you also worked there before. Maybe your location, maybe probably they're in Lagos, you want to use up. But the best option to use in order to immediately enter their conscience is if you went to the same school together. So you come straight to school, you click your school. If it's Unilag, you click Unilag. If your school name is not mentioned there, you can quickly add your school. For example, like putting University of Ilorin, University of Ilorin, put it there. Where you can see University of Ilorin. So show results. So the result that we show here are the people that are third party connected to the person that are already connected to, but they went to your school. So they are not just strangers to you, they are the people you can easily reach out to based on the fact that you went to the same school. It might not be the same department, it might not be the same faculty, it might not be the same year, but the fact that they went to the same school give you an advantage. I hope I explained this part very clearly now. So you can also reach out to them and they will be able to give you some clue on how to easily enter their company. They can facilitate it for you. They can talk to somebody in HR department that will specifically look into your CV, what you possess, and decide whether you are the best fit for the job or not. Even if you are not 100% qualified, the fact that you are coming through somebody, they'll give you some leverages, and before you know it, you are invited for the interview. So this is one of the way to connect. So for third party connection, this is how you can get in touch. You can just send them a message. You have something connecting you already. Not just that they are third party connection. They are they we went to the same school together. So you belong to the same alumni. So when you are reaching out to them, you have to state it there. The fact that they are saying that there already might make them to give it a listening ear. So this is an example of a message you can send to them. My name is Philip. You mention your name. I'm a fellow graduate of your school. You mention the name of the school. Can I have a few minutes of your time to ask about your experience at Access Bank, we are using Access Bank as an example, to know about your experience at Access Bank, your insights will be appreciated as I'm now considering applying for a marketing position. So this message will send it to the person. So send it to as many of them as possible. The reason is that it is not all of them that will answer you. You must have that at the back of your mind. It is not all of them that will answer you, so that you have as many options as possible. Now, the next question that might be ringing in your mind is, how do you send them the message? Very simple. Just come back to your LinkedIn page. You have already searched them based on this criteria. Sending them a message is as simple as clicking message. So this kind of information that I put here, you can just copy it out, edit it, and put it here. Send it directly to this person. After you have sent it, you go to the next person. But it is not all of them that you can send direct messages to. Some of them on their setting, they are putting there that they cannot receive messages from you except you have already connected with them, or except you are using this premium option. It is for free now. It is because I've not used it before. That is why it is showing free for me. I can try it for free, but you have to be paying. I think the first month is free, but subsequently you have to be paying to use that option. So if you are using this option, you can send message to anybody. For example, if you try to send message to this person now, you are going to get this message. So it is not all of them will be able to send message to, except you are on premium subscription. Like these people, you can follow these people. Some of them you need to follow them. Some of them you can send me. You can look at this one too. You can't send message to this person directly. You can't send message to this person directly. So a lot of them, because of what they are put in their setting, you understand. But what you're doing well at all is what you're doing well. You can invest a little of your money for the this option on LinkedIn, or you can quickly use the option of free free option. I think this one can last you for a month. So you can quickly make use of it. Send the messages to everybody you want to send messages to, and relax. By the time they get your message, they will open the connection from you, get connected to them. From there, you start communicating. And before you know it, your dream job of working in Access Bank, for example, will come to a reality. That is how to get in touch with people that you either have the first degree connection, second degree connection, or third degree connection with. The next question now is, how do we get connected to people? How do we get in touch with people that we don't have connection with at all? If there is no connection, that is your answer on that connection column is no, find and join group on LinkedIn that have the potential to connect you with contacts in your target company. So you have searched everywhere, you can't see any particular connection that can connect you with the people working in that organization. The next thing you need to do is to find a group that you can join, a group that you can join that will enable you to connect with people that already have connection with that organization. That is exactly what we are talking about. Maybe there is a group that called Bankers of Nigeria group, for example. I just think of it, Bankers of Nigeria group. You should know that inside this Bankers of Nigeria group, there will be staff of Access Bank there, there will be staff of GTB there, there will be staff of some other banks in Nigeria there. So you can really go and join that group. By joining that group, you become a member of that group. If you give an access to those people working in Access Bank, through that you get connected to them. You see, what is what you're doing at all is what doing well. You need to invest in this. You need to invest your time, invest your energy, invest your passion if you are actually expecting any result that is worthwhile at the end of the day. So generally, I think we are making a lot of progress. So let's move ahead from here, please. Now, on this module called Supercharge Your Search, we have some top 5 tips for you when you are conducting your search on LinkedIn. It is very important you have this at the back of your mind. so that you won't have any disturbance along the way or feeling dejected, or maybe the result is not coming out immediately. But if you can follow all these steps I've been explaining to you so far, you will start seeing the results immediately. The result, I'm not saying that you get the job immediately, but you realize that you are getting contact, you are that suggesting the available openings to you on LinkedIn that match the criteria you already put there. You know, the employers may start contacting you directly to submit your CV directly to them, and all the stuff like that. So this LinkedIn is actually very powerful, and I will advise all the job seekers outside there to take the advantage, leverage on it to get your dream job. So let's look at these 5 tips before we move on to the next module. Number one, it is a number game. Not everyone will get back to you. Stay positive and plan your next move. Not all the people you contacted will give you the positive response. Not all of them will respond to your messages, but I can assure you some will still respond to your messages, and the people that can help you, they will try as much as possible to help you. The number two, if there is no response after 5 days, find someone else in the company and email them. You don't have the luxury of time to be waiting forever. If you are not getting response within like 5 days, try and send messages to some other people. That was why I said in the first place that you must send messages to as many people as possible to have wider options. Now, number three, no response after 11 days. Follow up with your original contact, asking if there is a convenient time to talk. We are talking about the third party contact now. So if you are not getting response from them, you can follow up on your second party or first party contact, discuss with them and tell them that you are trying to reach this person that is in connection with them. They can actually assist you to reach those people. So you don't need to give up. Number four, try up to 3 to 5 people for your dream companies. If you ask me, try as many as possible. Try up to 50 if possible. Then number five, if you know about a job, mention it in your first email so they know how to advocate for you. You don't need to delay. Once you are reaching out to them because you see that there's an opening, so you don't need to delay. In your first message to them, let them know your reason of contacting them. State it there clearly. If they will help you, they will help you. So I think with this, we have come to the end of this module titled Supercharge Your Search. This is not the last. We'll be going to the next one before we call it a day on how to find a job right now. Welcome back. My name still remains Adeni, and we'll be diving into the last part of this course. Remember, the title of the course is How to Find a Job Right Now. So we'll be going deep into the last parts of this course, and the last module is widening your search. We have talked a lot about a lot of things, starting from your job right now is to get a job. We explained that when you are looking for a job, you are not actually jobless. Contrary to what people always say, that I don't have a job, I'm unemployed, you are actually employed when you are looking for a job. Just that you are the one that employ yourself, and the job you are doing right now is looking for a job. So stop looking at it from the perspective that you don't have a job. The only difference is that you don't have a paying job yet, but you have a job that can pave way for a paying job. So you have to take it very seriously. We discussed extensively about it, how to take it very seriously and don't joke with it. Because how seriously you take it determine the outcome at the end of the day. So once again, when you are looking for a job, you are not jobless because your job right now is to get a job. Now, after we established that the prerequisite, the preparation you need to put in place, the conditioning of your mind, and you have come to the reality that when you are looking for a job, you actually have a job. The next thing is, what do I actually want to do? This is the second module in this course. A lot of graduates out there are actually clueless. Maybe because the course they studied in school was not actually what they wanted to study. But because they wanted to be a graduate, they didn't mind the course they threw at them. They just grabbed it just to ensure that they find themselves within the four walls of the university. So at the end of the day, when they graduated, they are confused. So if you actually have average graduate over there out there that are saying that they're jobless, what do they actually want to do? They will not be able to tell you boldly and convincingly that this is what I want to do. So before you search for a job, the next thing that should be in your mind is, what do I want to do, without you deceiving yourself. So we have tried as much as possible to let you realize how you can come into the conclusion of what you actually want to do. We know it is a difficult question. It is not as easy as it sounds or it seems. It is something that you require your energy, your deep thinking, before you actually know and convince yourself about what you do. And if you remember, we talk about what you are good at and what you want to do. They are two different things entirely. What you are passionate at and what you want to do. You might be passionate about something, but you don't want to take it up as a job. And you might not be passionate about something, but you want to take it up as a job. Until you are able to marry what you are passionate about and what you really want to do, until you are able to marry them together, that is when you can come into the conclusion of what you actually want to do. So don't set out to look for a job without knowing what you actually want to do. Otherwise, it will end in disaster. So please know what you want to do. The next thing is, now that you know what you want to do, how do you set up yourself? Number one, you have to set up yourself via your CV. Number two, you have to set up yourself on social media. So in our last course, we discussed how to prepare a killer CV, a CV that no recruiter will be able to resist. We have already discussed that. Then we are going to discuss now how to set up yourself on social media. And the first place to set is LinkedIn. That is the first place to start. If you are starting up to set up yourself on social media for the purpose of work, you must start from LinkedIn. It is the most powerful platform out there when we are talking about job. So don't get deceived. Start from LinkedIn. So what is the first thing we are supposed to do on LinkedIn? We have already talked about it. That is setting up yourself on LinkedIn. That is how to build an ace LinkedIn profile. It is not just putting your name, putting your date of birth. Setting up a LinkedIn page require an expertise. And if you go back to our discussion on that module on how to set up an H LinkedIn page, you will see that at the end of the day, you are going to come up with a formidable LinkedIn page that will be coming at the top of the search of the recruiters by the time they are looking for the skills that you possess. That is the reason why you have to be very tactical in setting yourself up on LinkedIn page. So we discussed about that extensively, and I believe by now you shouldn't have any trouble, difficulties setting up an Ace LinkedIn page where your profile will be staring at all the recruiters at their faces. So apart from that, we now went further to say that setting up a formidable LinkedIn page is not enough for you to get a job easily. You have to learn how to create connections. You have to learn how to build bridges on LinkedIn. And that was when we got to this module that we call supercharge your search. You have to supercharge your search. You don't want to be searching like every other person out there. You want to be searching like a pro. You want to set up some things on LinkedIn that the job will be running after you. You will not be the one to be running after the jobs. So we talk about how to do that, how to create connection, first party connection, second party connection, how to search for the people that you have met in the course of your life, maybe in your previous work, maybe during your university or polytechnic, the people that were your friends, the alumni of your school, your neighbors that might be working in one or particular company that you are interested in. We have taught you how to establish perfect and strong connection with these people. When we usually say something in this country that looking for job requires connection. That connection doesn't have to come from your father. It doesn't have to come from your rich uncle. That connection just simply means building bridges, which you can easily bridge on your social media platform, on your LinkedIn most especially. So if you're actually looking for connection that can facilitate you getting the job, it is what you can easily get done on LinkedIn. So we talked extensively about it, and we also told you that you don't need to wait for work to be searching for you. You have to go there and go and look for that job before it is listed in the labor market. Because few seconds, few minutes that a job is listed in the labor market, it has already attracted the attention of thousands of people out there, if not millions. So you are competing with thousands, you are competing with millions. But if you are the one that search for this job through your connection before the job is listed, you might probably be the only person that will know about that job, and they will just do it as an internal hiring without getting to the public space. This will boost your chance of getting that your dream job instead of waiting for job to look for you. I'm not saying that searching for already listed job is bad, but it should be your secondary option. It shouldn't be your primary option. So we'll talk extensively about that. Then the next thing we are going to discuss now is how to widen your search. You have talked about how to do the connection, how to supercharge your search on LinkedIn. Now we want to widen it. We don't want you to limit yourself or restrict yourself to what we have been discussing so far. We want you to widen your search so that you have many options, as many as possible. So that is the reason we are going into this module, last module, and very important module on how to widen your search for job on social media. Please, let's go on. Now to the last module, widening your search for job. So we don't want to restrict ourselves to LinkedIn, in as much as we have all agreed that the LinkedIn is the most powerful tool when we are looking for a job, but we still don't want to restrict ourselves to LinkedIn. We agreed that LinkedIn is one of the ways to actually find a job before that job is listed in the labor market. At the same time, we don't mind searching for the jobs that are already listed because you might be lucky. So we don't want to box ourselves into the corner. We want to explore as many options as possible, and that is the reason we are widening our search. And widening of this search, before we go to other search engines, we still consider one or two things on LinkedIn before we move on. So now we have already built our network. Let's explore how to get the most from a more traditional job search that many of us already knew. Like LinkedIn, we have been hearing about LinkedIn for ages, but truly you agree with me that through this training, you have learned a lot much more about LinkedIn. The same thing applies to all these traditional job search engines. You have been hearing about many of them, but you don't actually know how to utilize them to your advantage. And that is exactly what we are going to be discussing here right now. Now, this is a popular saying that new beginnings are often described as painful ending. You know why? Because the beginning is actually the end of your old self. And it's like a change want to take place. And anytime a change is taking place, it will definitely be painful. Change is not an easy task. So that is why the beginning is always painful. But by the time you get over the beginning, you just be cruising. So back to this saying again, new beginnings are often described as painful endings. Now, where to begin? Begin what? Begin widening your search. Searching for available job is no substitute to finding jobs before they come on the market. So if you have skipped ahead, I already recommended our previous lesson, supercharge your search. In case you miss it, go and look for that module and listen to it attentively before you come back to this particular one. Because this one is just an extension of what we discussed on supercharge your search. Now, what are we going to covering here? We are going to cover widening your search. We are going to cover top job sites, many of which you might already know, and we are going to talk about how to automate your search. So when you cross your leg in your sitting room, sipping your coffee, the job alert will just be dropping on your phone, be dropping on your email, and not just job alert, the job alert that you actually want that are very related to the profile you have set up on this social media. Because you have automated them, they will just be looking for you. So this is one of the way of looking for job, of getting the job before the job get outside there, or instead of waiting for job to be looking for you. So we are going to cover these three lines in this particular module. Widening your search. So we have talked about to create such a connection on LinkedIn. Now, in order to widen your search, we just teach you one simple logic so that to bring out all the jobs you are interested in that are already advertised on LinkedIn. You'll be able to see them. And once you see those jobs, think of what we discussed about supercharge your search on how to quickly contact your connections on LinkedIn, the connection that have something to do with that particular company that are listing job, so that you will not be going there like ordinary people. You'll be going there like an internal person, and through that you may enjoy the benefit of internal hiring. So it is very, very important. So we are going to LinkedIn page now to demonstrate what we're about to be talking here. Now let's assume that you are interested in marketing job. Just come to the LinkedIn, this particular place, just type marketing there. Marketing. Now, what are you looking for in marketing? You are looking for what? Job. Now, all the jobs that are related to marketing will definitely come out. You can see director communication, they will give you all the description and some or many other ones. They are here, they are here, as many as possible. But if you are a young graduate, I'm sure director communication that has something to do with marketing may not be applied to you. So you have to look for a way to narrow it down to a particular one that you actually want. And the best way to narrow it down is to come to all filters. You can use any of these that you want. Is it an experience or entry level job you are looking for? You can select the criteria here. So that instead of bringing a director to somebody that just graduated, it will just be bringing you everything that is related to entry level. Let's try it. With this, we are going to get 536 results. So if you are looking for entry level marketing job, they are all here. Then another thing I would like to discuss here, don't let the subject of the advert deceive you. Click it to understand the content, the job description of what they are actually looking for. So don't be deceived by this advert. But once you put the marketing, it means that these jobs are more or less related to marketing. Now, if you are not satisfied with this, here you can select the criteria also. Is it an advert that has been there forever? Is it the advert that came out a week ago, the past 24 hours, or the past month? You can actually select. Let's assume that you are selecting the past month. You click here, it will narrow your search result to 438. You are gradually getting to the ones that will be very, very relevant and applicable to you. You can choose this as well so that you will see the jobs that are advertised within this month. Now, if you want also to narrow it down based on the company, you come here. You can select the company you want if they are listed there, but most importantly, you can come to this part and come and select a lot of criteria, most relevant, past month, you have already selected this entry level. Other criteria are here. to the extent that you can select the state, you can select the town, you can select whether it's a full job or part-time, you can select all these criteria and search. So it will bring you very specific kind of job that you are looking for. And you may be able to see one or two that you will be willing to apply to. But remember, before you apply, seek your connection on LinkedIn. It will help you a lot. So LinkedIn cannot be exhausted when it comes to the opportunity. So you have to go there, start browsing more and more things that because of the time limit I'm not able to discuss here, you are going to discover them yourself. Just be browsing instead of spending all your time on Facebook, instead of spending all your time watching people's status that will not help you in terms of the job you are looking for. Why don't you spend most of your time on a platform that is robust enough to make available to you that's your dream job that has been eluding you all this while? I can tell you a lot of opportunity are on LinkedIn, and it is to your own benefit if you try as much as possible to concentrate your energy on LinkedIn for now, and some other traditional search engine we'll be discussing subsequently. By the time you get what you are looking for, you can now relax and be watching your Facebook, your status at your own convenient time. But I can tell you, there's no way you'll be enjoying other social media with hungry stomach, with empty stomach. So you have to look for the way to satisfy your stomach for, to have a stable income, to build your family on, instead of wasting all this time on something that will not help you, or have some things that will not help you, or have very little influence on the on your chances of getting a job. So that is that widening search on LinkedIn. So we'll be going ahead now to talk about other social platform or job related platform. We have known a lot of them where you can expand or widen your search so that you have a robust opportunity and you have a robust antenna long enough to catch any available job out there easily. That is exactly what we are going to be doing next. Still on how to widen your search when you are looking for a job. Now let's consider these two slides. This first one is telling us about job requirement, how you can use the bullet point, the action point in the job requirement to widen your search. Read the job requirement, read it very well. Read in between the line. Look for those exact words that explain what the recruiter is looking for. Don't let the title of the job put you off. Like I said earlier on, it is not enough to look at the title of the job or the advertised job and move on. Please click through and look at the job requirement of that particular title. They are more important than the title of the job you are looking at. You should be applying if you meet 60% of the requirement. By the time you look through the job description and you realize that you meet at least at the minimum 60% of the requirement, please go ahead and apply for that job. Don't wait to meet all the requirements. You'll be waiting for too long. We have explained this again and again in the course of this training that you don't need to wait to meet 100% of the job requirement before you go ahead and apply. Now, search terms. A great way to broaden a job title search is to add terms to the title you are looking for. So you use those terms they use in job description as part of your search tool to search. You have a broaden option when you are searching for job on LinkedIn or other search engine. Please ensure you include all this. This could include remote if you are looking for a remote job. This will include virtual, this will include interim, freelance, and so on and so forth. It might bring back some alternative that you hadn't seen before. Job sites. So let's look at some traditional job sites that you might very much aware of and those that you don't know about. As I was saying, these are the top job sites you can use to widen your search apart from LinkedIn. You might have been familiar with many of them, but I have a list here that contains the top ones that can be useful when it comes to job search. I have glassdoors.com, indeed.com, reach.com, jobberman.com. I'm sure you are very familiar with this. Careers24.com also is very popular. Indeed.com, I mentioned it earlier here. Jobcenternigeria.com, hotnigerian.com. I also have some here, nigerhotjobs.com, ngcareers.com. I have a list of them that are very, very germane to job search. So, apart from LinkedIn, if you are actually looking for the listed job, you can get them here easily. So, all you need to do is to be going to this website and get yourself signed up. They are very good and you can leverage on them easily to get your job. So, moving forward, apart from going to this site, they also give the opportunity of automating the alert on their platform. For example, this Glassdoor, all you need to do is to click the profile icon in the top right corner and click email alert. Click on create new alert. Then fill in the job title you are looking for and the location you are interested in. You can do this as many times as you want for different role you want or for multiple locations. So what this one is that you can actually localize your job search because this particular website is worldwide. So you can actually narrow it down to the jobs that are available in Nigeria, the type of job you want, and the location you want the job within Nigeria. So all you'll be getting is the email alert as the jobs are being listed afresh. So quickly look at it, open your mail, go to this website, look at the job descriptions, and try and manage it with your connection on LinkedIn. So all these websites I'm listing out to you, I will advise that you use them in conjunction with the power of LinkedIn. Don't just go ahead and apply. Look for the connection that will make it easier for you to get to the attention of the recruiter so that they will consider you among the people they will call for the interview. This one is very, very important. I said it earlier that we always say it is only people that have connections that can get job in this country. Well, it is true to a very large extent, but this connection does not come from the heaven. And it is not only the people that come from high and mighty family or from rich home that can get this connection. You can create this connection for yourself. And I've already explained in total how you can get created on these connections, how you can build bridges to people, as many people as possible across many industries easily by leveraging on the power of LinkedIn. So don't just be looking at the listed jobs on this traditional website, be looking for how to get connection so that you will stand out from the crowd, so that they will treat you specially from the way they will treat people that are just throwing in their CV without having connection with anybody within the organization. So we have already explained how you can automate your email alert so that you'll be getting alert immediately the jobs are listed. These are very key. It's the same thing we are trying to explain here. This is for read. Just go to the website. It is very easy to do. It is a self-service options. Once you get there, you will see the step to follow. Then you get yourself created. And if you don't know how to do it, Just read through what I write up there, and before you know it, boom, you get corrected and you start receiving alert from read as well. So you can do the same thing for as many job sites as possible so that you save you the time of logging into them every now and then. You will just sit at the comfort of your room or the comfort of your parlour, and you are getting alert on the available job. And when you are getting this alert, please don't waste time. Do something about them immediately. Send in your CV if they ask you to send in your CV. If they ask you to apply online without any delay, and try to get your connection that can facilitate getting job with this organization for you. I repeat, these connections you have created on LinkedIn, they are very, very powerful, and you should not underrate them. So we have explained all this. What is the next thing to do? You can remember where we are coming from. Our first course is actually how to prepare ourselves emotionally for the business of getting a job. That was the first course. In case you miss it, you can request for it. We make it available to you. The second course was how to write a killer CV, a CV that no one will be able to reject. That one is very, very important. The third course we discuss is how to find your job right now. And this is what we just completed here right now. This is the last module, which is widening your set. So it is the last module we are going to discuss on how to find your job right now. Now, the next course we are going to be discussing and I want you to seriously be part of is how to be successful during an interview. Being successful during an interview is not something that just comes naturally. You have to be fully prepared. Preparation is key. Like they always say, success is where preparedness and opportunity meet. So if you do not prepare and there is an opportunity, you will hardly get that opportunity because opportunity is always looking for preparedness. So if you are not prepared, my dear, the chances that you get getting job will be very, very slim. So you have to be fully prepared for your interview. Don't just wake up, put on clothes and go for the interview. What are the do's and don'ts of the interview? You have to know this thing. In fact, you can already prepare for 80% at least of the questions that are going to ask you during the interview. You have rehearsed it, you have mastered them, you have known the tricks so that they will not get you off the hook immediately you enter the interview room. You know what to do as you are stepping in, you know what to do as you are sitting down, you know what not to do as they are asking you questions, and you know how to wow your interviewer. All these are going to be discussed extensively by the time we are discussing how to be successful during a job interview. I wish you best of luck. Meet you in the next course. Thank you.